Hello again, everyone. This is Larry at the Best saying, what you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you become. What you say, you see. We're still discussing the types of imagination. So far, we've talked about synthetic imagination. As we said, we're going to be covering 6 types of imagination during these coming sessions. Synthetic imagination, creative imagination, end result imagination, process imagination, conditioned response imagination, spontaneous response imagination. We've discussed so far briefly synthetic imagination. Today, we're going to switch gears and we're going to move into creative imagination. So far, we've said that synthetic imagination is based on reason and your experience. And actually, your reason, your ability to reason is one of our God-given faculties. I know my friend Eunice in Maryland, usually she's so gung-ho about these 12 powers of man, which includes the different faculties that we have. But as I said, synthetic imagination is based on your reasoning faculty and your experience. As a result of that, synthetic imagination has limits, because for the most part, the best you usually hope for is to improve upon what someone else has done. But what someone else has already done already has limits. Now, what's the difference between synthetic imagination and creative imagination? I'm going to cover that briefly today, and then in the coming sessions, I'm going to share some additional information with you about creative imagination. Here is the bottom line. The main difference between synthetic imagination and creative imagination can be summarized as follows. 1, synthetic imagination is based on your reason and experience, and it has limits. Creative imagination is the outgrowth of the content of your consciousness. It's the outgrowth of your definiteness of purpose. It's the outgrowth of your major shift aim in life. It's the outgrowth of those things that you're passionate about, of those things you think about all the time, of those ideas, those concepts, those insights you would like to experience in your life. And as a result of that, creative imagination has no limits. You know, many sessions ago, you've had me quote one of Napoleon Bonaparte's quotations that goes something like this: imagination rules the world. And you know, when Napoleon was on this planet Earth, during one of his campaigns, one of his generals came to him and said, "Sir, it looks like we're not going to be able to launch our attack for this campaign just yet because the circumstances are not right." And Napoleon was said to have responded as follows: "Circumstances or no circumstances, I make circumstances. Attack." And you know, when you get in the mode of using your creative imagination, that is basically what happens. You can triumph over all of the limitations, all of the obstacles, because when you are applying your creative imagination, you're actually being your true self. You are created in the image and likeness of God. Can you imagine telling God that there are certain limits, that there are certain mountains that cannot be scaled, that there are certain rivers that cannot be crossed, that there are certain problems that cannot be overcome, that there are certain financial challenges that you just cannot overcome, that there are certain health situations that are just too much for you? No. When you apply, when you put your creative imagination to work, you triumph over all those obstacles. And how do you do it? It's very simple. Just know what you want and keep your mind on it day in, day out. You know, in synthetic imagination, it's like you putting 2 and 2 together. You put 2 and 2 together in synthetic imagination and you get 4. In creative imagination, it's 2 and 2 putting you together. In other words, you know what your end result is and you keep dwelling on it. You keep seeing yourself with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. And then, bingo! All of a sudden, you wake up, you see an idea, something will just flow out of you. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up for today, because we're almost at 5 minutes and I want to call it off. But we'll pick this up next time. In the meantime, remember, you are that nation where the opposition never comes to power. And carpe diem. Have a wonderful day. Ciao. I love you.